Welcome, my friends, to Conspiracy or Conspiracy, where we talk about all encompassing conspiracies that could possibly be known to mankind. We talk about lost civilizations. We talk about governmental conspiracies. We talk about overarching conspiracies, and talk about things that involved potentially UFOs, UAPs, and of course, things that go bump in the night. Welcome, my friends, to Conspiracy or Conspiracy. Well, I'm on a roll. There's just too much happening right now in the conspiracy world for me not to do another Conspiracy or Conspiracy. So I think it's in the cards. I think it's got to be done. Somebody's got to do it, and that somebody is, of course, it's one of us. But I'll do it today. I enjoy it. We do have the best chat on YouTube, best folks in the YouTube community. So blessed. It's always nice to talk to really brilliant people about this stuff, and hopefully get our numbers to grow. Hail RR, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Quarter roll time indeed. I think you're referring to this, right? What's going on? Yeah. Look at that. Wow. So jealous. Hail Parrothead, welcome, my friend. Hail to Helium 29, welcome. So yeah, seems to have been a busy week for a lot of things, but there's so I thought this was an interesting segue given what we've covered on yesterday's Conspiracy or Conspiracy, and that is the RNA vaccine for COVID-19. Zuckerberg, apparently in private, has some issues with this vaccine. So Project Veritas, God bless them, have them and their army of patriots have managed to smuggle out some very important comments. Him on camera talking about his reservations about the COVID-19 RNA vaccine. Then, of course, we have there have been rumors of it, that there was an assassination attempt on President Trump when he was president on December 21st of 2020. And we don't really get too many more details of it, but we do have some clips that I think are gold from the Alex Jones show on that topic and some other topics with him and Mancow Mueller. And I always seem to enjoy when Mancow is on. Some of Alex Jones's best shows have been with Mancow Mueller on. So here I'm having a cold brew coffee. I make my own. So this is from my fridge. Cheers, my friends. I guess I should have muted that before you heard me glugging that down. And then, of course, I'm still trying to go through like the massive nuclear winter's worth of Gatorade G2 I picked up, even though that completely fucked my keto up, but whatever. Hail Bone! Happy Friday to you, my friend. Ken Jack Ben says pumpkins for everyone. Pumpkin power, absolutely. Yep, power of pumpkins. You can braise it, you can boil it, you can shuck it, you can make pie, you can make pumpkin bread, you can make pumpkin ravioli, pumpkin pie. Pumpkin noodles. Hail Lasso of Truth. Welcome, my friend. And we could use the Lasso of Truth now more than ever. Bone says, author Stephen Walton's Ice Brew. Clearly not, because it's going in door number 1 and not door number 2. Halar R says Mancow is a solid guy. Yeah, I miss his show. Yep. Well, I mean, he talks a little bit about why he's not really, doing one anymore, which is not unsurprising. So, yep. Well, we're about 5 minutes in here, so I think we'll start off with this President Trump assassination attempt and some of the revelations surrounding that. Oh, hey, no way. When you dual screen it, StreamYards gives you a different option. I had no idea. They're like, which screen do you want to share, sir? Screen 1 or screen 2? So this is the desktop on the second one. Yeah, isn't that cool? Mind blown emoji. I'm sorry, I get distracted by things like that sometimes. Need to, yeah. Oof. Let's share. I like to share Chrome tabs. That's what I like to share. So this was a very good show, and I'll go ahead and post a link into the chat. But I have it at the timestamp. It's about 27 minutes in, and so here I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat right now. So this should be going out to both channels. Yep. Yeah, Jones is getting back into form. Jones is more like I remember Jones being when I used to watch Jones. There was a time when I think maybe his ego got the better of him, but I do think that Jones is getting better. So with that, let's hit the play button, which their player is a little bit different than most players. Where is the play? That's right. I have to. So on band.video, you have to press play, and then you have to full size it. I'm assuming we're not going to get copywritten for this. Shit. All right. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on, folks. Shit. I thought I shared the audio on that. I'm really disappointed in myself. I got distracted by all the bells and whistles they're giving me here. And play. And...
A source told me that on December 21st of last year, there was an assassination attempt that got real close to Trump. And I am told from my source, again, take it or leave it. I don't really care at this point in my life.
Okay, there we go.
But it's an incredible source. I mean, one of the best sources you can have.
Secret Service.
I'm not going to say.
I was told the same thing. I was told the same thing.
But
all right.
This is pretty big news that nobody's talked about. So
I would say so.
And there's been many attempts that we don't know about. But my understanding is I got very close to him and they said, look, you're too hot. We can't protect you anymore. Basically, the deep state said, shut up, go away, or you're dead and your family's dead. I don't think we're going to see. Well, I don't know. I think I'm already wrong because I didn't think we would see a return of Trump. And then he showed up at that the President's Day event. So I didn't think we'd see him again.
Okay, I've been asked not to say what you just said. So now that you've said it, I'm going to go ahead and bring all this out on the other side.
Well, I want to say that's what someone told me. Okay, I've heard lots of crazy stuff.
Well, let me just tell you that they already beat
up. They're establishing it as a rumor.
I'm not going on the record.
Well, part of the message was they beat up Stone's wife in front of her house, put her in the hospital, and then I wasn't even supposed to talk about it until later. People thought it happened like 3 days later. No, it happened before. And I was told all this by lawyers in the White House of the assassination attempts, of the threats. Trump was totally surrounded, and I'm on air telling people, and the Q folks are like, shut up, Jones, we're invincible. And I'm like, no, we're not invincible. He's totally surrounded. God almighty. And we walked right in the trap.
Okay, Alex, I got something big to tell you from inside the White House.
Well, I know you're hooked into everything. Eric Mancow Muller's here. Follow him on Instagram.
You may not like it.
Yeah, this part here.
I want to hear it when we come back.
This part here.
Infowars.com and newswars.com.
Pretty interesting too, and we'll unpack that in a second as well.
And band.video.
So we'll unpack that in a second too, the second part of it. But there's a lot there. There's a lot there. So there's a lot there. Hail, geeks, and joy nerdrotica. Welcome, my friend. We're talking about the purported, rumored assassination attempts on President Trump, as well as Zuckerberg being recorded saying he doesn't necessarily trust the COVID-19 RNA vaccine. Yes, sir. Hail Shellback. Welcome, my friend. R says, yep, I've heard from many different sources that there have been many attempts on Trumpster's life. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, you have the one press conference of him where he says, I'm going to have to go away for a while, folks. I've made some powerful enemies. And so, yeah, but what's interesting about that, if I'm interpreting it correctly, he's saying that the Secret Service said, hey, dude, they're coming after you and we can't protect you. And there's even more revelations as you get deeper into the interview. Fantastic. This is some of the best, this is some of the best material that Jones has produced in a long time. Hail Fat Steven. Welcome, my friend. It's weird not seeing Wes with glasses. Well, I thought it was weird seeing author Stephen Walton without glasses, and he's who inspired me to take them off. But now he's wearing his glasses again, so, I guess I'm going to have to put mine back on again. Unless we're on the same stream, then maybe. Hail TWTG content. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Yep. Yeah, that was Van Cow. Yep. Yeah, I do have very thick glasses. Yeah, my eyes probably look really different without them. I think my glasses shrink my eyes a little bit because they're so thick. And so my eyes look bigger, I guess, when I don't have my glasses on. So yeah, this is interesting stuff, and so let's go on because they go on to talk about that a little bit more in depth. So let's hear what else they have to say, because they're talking about January 6th now, and it still goes into the assassination attempt stuff too.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. All I've been is persecuted for supporting President Trump the last 6 years. And he is the president. He did get reelected in a landslide. All the evidence is overwhelming.
Hail Bear! Welcome, my friend.
Got persecuted for it. So a lot of people are like,
man.
You're only supporting Trump because, it's so great for you. Oh, yeah, it's really wonderful to have all these attacks take place and to be deplatformed and take my bank accounts away. So I don't know what Mancow was about to get into. I know that he is friends with Trump. I know they reportedly people tell him to talk quite a bit. I've got a lot of the same info from some other people that talk to Trump quite a bit. Again, I've missed calls from the president, but I don't know what this piece of intel is. But recap, because we hit the break, about what you were told by a White House source about a very serious assassination attempt on December 21st of last year, when you noticed Trump suddenly got really, really quiet. He went ahead and capitulated, until he decided, I guess, to roar back on the 6th, and then they were able to basically sabotage that. What was your other big piece of news?
Look at this body language. Wow.
This is really dangerous, bud.
I know you were one of the last guys to talk to Breitbart. I know he was really killed.
These nuggets, too.
What's the news?
I may have been the last person to talk to him because Breitbart had some information, and I think it was pedophile, satanic stuff, my opinion.
Well, he tweeted that. He tweeted that right before he died.
On the Obamas and Clintons, but I think he had video that was going to ruin everything. And I believe he was murdered. Or he went jogging at 2:30 in the morning.
No, they poisoned his wine.
I want to tell you that a very good source of mine, there he is, God, that I love him. If you don't know who he is, he created Ariana Huffington, in my opinion, and really created a lot of what we see on the internet now. There's another trick.
Ah, shit, you can use the hotkeys to pause it. Okay, cool. So yeah, what do we think about that? Because the Andrew Breitbart thing, we could do a whole show on the conspiracy behind Andrew Breitbart. And I have to agree with Mancow Mueller here, and that I tend to believe that Andrew Breitbart was taken out. Sure, Bear, what time? Just let me know. I still have to hit the gym after this, and then I have to do some work stuff on the computer. So yeah, yep. Yeah, I think he was too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just one of those weird, suspicious deaths that doesn't make any goddamn sense. So, yeah, I think Andrew Breitbart was murdered, but listen to how it ties all into all this different stuff, right? So, I mean, that's one of the things that we always talk about on conspiracy is that, in isolation, these things would already seem a little bit weird. But when you start connecting the dots, it's like the same players keep showing up. The same type of material seems to be linked to the suspicious demises of certain folks. So, yeah, it's yeah, I think he was taken out. Absolutely. And but that, I mean there was a supposed anti-vaxxer that was taken out fairly recently also. That it's crazy. So if Truth says, yeah, I'd like to hear more about Breitbart. Yeah, yep. Need to look more into it. I need to look more into what he was looking into. Bear says, dangerous subject. Folks have disappeared for less. Yeah, yep, sure is. As in Breitbart News, yes, that Breitbart. R says, of course he was taken out. Kinjack Ben says, I agree about Breitbart. The Tea Party movement fizzled without him. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, let's hear what he's going to continue to say here.
Trailblazer, just like Rush, that we lost, and they were dancing on his grave too. Look, I want honesty. I want, and that's what Breitbart and Rush wanted. They, for the most part, truth. Forget party, truth. Alex, I want to tell you from my very good source that you talked about the devil earlier. The devil, the devil knows you're here.
Some deep stuff here.
The devil knows I'm here. And I want to say to all those that aren't facing any challenges, nobody cares about you. The devil doesn't care about you. If Alex Jones was sitting at home right now, drinking a six-pack, he wouldn't have any problems, nor would I. But the minute you step out and try to do good and step up for God, then the devils come out. New levels, new devils. So I'm going to tell you something you probably heard, but they were counting on, I really don't want to go here.
Just say it.
Hail Tommy.
Okay. They were counting on you. I'm sorry.
This is crazy. There's so much in this conversation.
No, I know you're not a BSer, so tell me. I want to know if it's about me especially.
Very smart of you, and they didn't expect it, that you said, stop! No violence! We're love. This is about peace and love. Stop it! And when you did that, from my sources, the deep state went, we had him. They thought they had you, Alex. You were done. You were set up, in my opinion. And I know from my sources that when you told everybody, stop, step down, this is about love. And
so it sounds like if what we're hearing here is correct, if what Mancow is saying is that they're going to try and pin the insurrection on Jones. They're going to try and pin that on him and basically set him up as a traitor. That's pretty interesting stuff. And Mancow was saying when he got on the bullhorn and was recorded saying, stop, go home, that the deep state was like, oh, fuck, man. And that they were trying to scramble to save the narrative. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting. Yep, going deep down the rabbit hole, indeed. Yeah. Ron Perlman was basically saying that he played Hellboy and that he feels sorry for Satan for having to spend time with Rush Limbaugh in a tweet. It was very tasteless and certainly is a lot more inflammatory than anything Gina Carano's ever said. Yeah, he's a turd. I mean, he's a good actor, but he's a turd. It's a long way down, yeah. Long way down. I don't think I make it on my own. Yeah, maybe that song didn't fit that. Anyway, continuing here. Oh, are we having a buffering issue? Yeah, Ron Perlman is a piece of shit, indeed. Yes, he is. Yeah. Suddenly my video doesn't want to play. Oh, video, come out and play!
And thankfully somebody filmed it. You saved your ass. You saved InfoWar, and the movement can continue. But boy, man, what a setup. What a fake deal. What a fake operation that whole deal was.
We know the president now was set up by, not the Secret Service, they're mostly good, but by insiders in the party that told him there was security and a stage. The stage was set up the night before. We got there and they'd removed the stage. I mean, we were totally set up.
Yeah.
And notice, let me tell you this. Notice when they dropped, Mancow, when they dropped the entire thing last Saturday, unexpectedly without witnesses, a week early in the trial of Trump, the second impeachment farce, was when Lindsey Graham said, what did Pelosi know? When did she know it? Now, we knew that day one. They ordered the police to stand down. Honore and this globalist general tried to blame the police. They were just ordered to go do traffic control. So that's
something I hadn't really heard. The police being ordered to stand down. I mean, it seemed a little suspect how little, how small the presence was there. But it sounds like they didn't want to start getting that. Once they opened the door to witnesses, that was going to be witnesses on the other side, the Pelosi side, on their side, and they were going to start asking these questions about when did you know this, when did you know that, and that's why they decided not to call witnesses and just do the vote. Very interesting indeed. Quite interesting. Yeah, Ron Perlman went to Crazy Town. Yeah. Don't go to Crazy Town. You know, if you have to go somewhere, go to like, Flavor Town. Flavor Town might be a better option than Crazy Town. Hey, Tina Bojan. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Tina says, good evening, friends. Good evening to you, Tina. Shellback says, but how long can we do nothing? If we go home and stay home, what will be accomplished that way? Well, we've got YouTube channels, and that wakes people up. And if somebody's a part of one of these weird compartmentalized operations, and they start hearing things, maybe they'll realize that they're a part of a larger picture, and that what they're being told in their capacity with an NGO or with a government agency, that maybe they're part of something that isn't what it is on the surface, and so maybe they'll start doling out information to different folks. So I think making our voices heard and speaking is very important. I'm actually really terrified that this channel is going to blow up. I don't know what I'd do with like 100,000 subscribers. That would scare the shit out of me. Also, Truth says, I heard that the Capitol Police were told not to step in. They were also denied more support. Well, I've heard things about the National Guard, but I hadn't heard anything about the Capitol Police. That's very interesting. Lasso of Truth. Bone says, evening, Tina. Shellback says, I prefer Funky Town. Take me to Funky Town. Take you to Funky Town. R says, Lou Dobbs was doing a good job of uncovering the police stand down, but now Fox fired him. Yeah. This purge is, and all this purge is doing is just waking people up and red pilling people. Let's see. Yeah. See, I've heard it too. Shellback says, yeah, YouTube channels that can get shut down and then nobody will hear anything. Well, that's why we're over on Odyssey too. And Odyssey is, even though they told me they would only port over stuff that's 90 minutes or less, they seem to be porting over my entire catalog, even the ones that are over 90 minutes. So let me throw a link in the chat. And I seem to be earning some kind of cryptocurrency whenever I upload something, and depending on how many views my stuff gets. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how all that works yet, because their menu to navigate all that stuff is very it's a little clunky. It's not very intuitive. Yeah, see, they're porting over my entire catalog, even though they said I didn't have enough watch time. So Odyssey's very cool. If you email them and ask them for an exception, they will most of the time oblige. There we go. And that's how it's spelled. Yeah, I know it's spelled dumb and weird, but that's how it's spelled. Tommy says, I could never get my vids to auto-upload to BitChute. Me neither. I don't know what happened with BitChute. And then when I'd manually upload them, they would process for weeks and weeks at a time, really trying to give BitChute a chance. But I think BitChute has some work to do. Odyssey seems to be much better. Yeah, BitChute is a pain in the ass like that. Yep. Ken Jack Bin says, Asher says it's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. Hi, Asher. Hi, Asher. Peanut butter and jelly time. We love peanut butter and jelly time. Well, I think that has too many carbs, but you're a kid, so you can eat it. So yeah, let's continue with this because this is very interesting. What happens here? Because they talk about a lot of stuff. God damn it! Don't make me do this shit every time, you fucker.
Starting to come out that CNN paid the Antifa people that it was that they helped trigger a small number of the group going in, and so that's why they ended the trial because Trump was getting ready to bring that out.
Antifa's our modern brown shirts. Alex.
Yep. See, that's where he talked about it. He was going to bring that up.
Done this on air. What do you think? What are you thinking about what I just told you?
Well, I mean, I knew that they were. Well, here's the deal. They told me the Secret Service. Trump wants you to lead the deal. He's going to announce that he'll meet you there.
But was that true? Did Trump want you to do that?
No. Trump then looked at me and said, I'm going to be in the march. I was right there in the second row. He looked right at me. He goes, I'm going to lead the march. And then the Secret Service was there with the people. They were waving at me. They came over and waved me over and let me out to go lead the crowd. It was all, but it wasn't Trump. It was the insiders that told Trump there was a stage and security. Yeah. And then the Secret Service stood down and was going to let him go there alone, basically. And all of this, it was all Trump was totally set up. That's why they started the rioting in the middle of his speech. The minute he said, I'll meet you at the Capitol, all the guys on earpieces got go messages, and they believe they were being commanded by Trump. They're really being commanded by the Democrats and deep state. And that's how they use the Q-op to do it. Is that not sophisticated mind control?
Yeah, brother. I want to pick your brain on a future show about Q. I'd like to figure that whole thing out. A lot of people thought I was Q.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. A lot to unpack. Wow, Greg Hunter just got permanently banned by YouTube. He's never had a strike or any penalty until he wouldn't stop covering the Bribin selection. He won't let it go. Well, it's not exactly something that you want to let go when your country has been stolen from you by the Chinese Communist Party and the global elites. I mean, it's not like it's something that you want to let go. Shouldn't have to. That's very lame. But yeah, you could hear that. I don't know if there's a misspeak there or what, but he's talking about how the Secret Service was going to let Trump walk over there unaccompanied. That sounds a little crazy. That's wow. But yeah, this whole thing, this whole coup. I mean, it's so obvious what's happening, and it's really gross that there are still people that are not awake to it. What are you going to do? I mean, just have to do what you're doing. But yeah, our Greg Hunter, getting permanently banned. It's kind of gross. And they're going to be coming for us, and they're going to get rid of us as well. But they can't stop all of us. And so the more they do this, the more they wake people up. Just hopefully it's not too late. I think what we need to do is just do an Atlas shrugged and just kind of shrug our shoulders, form our own little communities, and take over local and state office. And eventually, I hate to say it, but I think what we need to do is have a constitutional convention where we throw these people out and go back to go back to a constitutional federal government, which is what we don't have right now. Ken Jack Ben says, Wes Mooney Webcast. Asher says, Wes, what are you doing at? Northern California. It's kind of overcast today. It's been overcast for most of the week, which kind of affects me a little bit. It saps my energy slightly. So it also puts me in the mood to cover conspiracy because on a rainy day, I love a good conspiracy. Yep, absolutely. All right, says Hunter is a great reporter. He's a stand-up guy. He won't back down from telling the truth. Very courageous man. Yeah, and they went after him too. Yeah, they go after people. That's kind of the scary part Thankfully I'm small enough to where I don't have that problem yet, but see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a problem. Or if it does, hopefully it's something that, there's good that balances out the bad. Tina says, I've been hoping for a constitutional convention for about 30 years. Well, we need to, to get one, you need 3/4 of the states to get together. Let's see. And since you do have more states that are red states, it might not be as insurmountable as one might think. Let's see here. A national constitutional convention called by 2/3 of the state legislatures. So, I mean, that's probably the best route to do it, because you're not going to have Congress limiting their own power. We need to go back to the state legislatures electing our U.S. senators. And, we need to basically go back to constitutional government, have it forbidden that we have a central bank, just outlaw central banking altogether, and just have the Treasury handle everything that, handle monetary policy and coining of money, and money would be coined. So there would be coining of money. So I think that's the, and then of course make everybody that's currently in office ineligible for any office ever again, because they're traitors, most of them. Anybody that's held office for the last 50 years, we'll say. Floyd says, one more freezing night and back to normal temperatures. All right. Yeah, it is kind of a, yeah, well, Puxtawani Phil saw a shadow, so you know what that means. Kinjack Ben says, I don't really like his conspiracies as much as everyone else. They don't even entertain me anymore. It just makes me angry. Well, eventually you'll get past that point, Kinjack Ben. I hear you. I used to feel the same way. R says, you could tell Main Cow was scared to let out, to let all of it out. Yeah. Yep. R says, it'd be nice to have a constitution, to actually have a constitutional convention. Yeah, right. Back to the Constitution. Yep. Lasso of Truth says, no more unelected officials. Mm-hmm. R says, the Fed is buying the planet. And since we can't audit them, we don't know how crooked their books are. But their books are probably, they're probably conjuring money out of thin air. It's like the black credit card that you saw either Sasha or Malia Obama having in that Hunter Biden photo detail from the laptop. That's what the Federal Reserve is. It's just a credit card without a limit. Why do we need to keep track of it? We just need to show enough and have enough force of law behind us so that we can just get away with it. And there's a reason why they talk about consumer confidence so much, and why our system is based on credit. Dollars became basically bills of credit and debt. And so there's a reason for all of that. The reason is that we're run by con men. Consumer confidence. They're con men. Con comes from the word confidence. And so every time I hear something on the news about consumer confidence, the consumer price index and all this stuff, I'm just like, ultimately, as much as they try to present the information and make the information seem extremely complex and complicated, that's designed to get you and me to tune out of that stuff, and for us to not pay attention, or for it to make it seem like they're more intelligent than we are, when it's just not the case. They're con men, so they want to make it seem complicated so that it looks like they're smart and that they know what they're doing, when in fact, it's all a con game, man. That's all it is. It's all con. Floyd says, add term limits and cut off their benefits. Well, I think we tried term limits here for the state legislature in California, and I think a better solution would be to make the Congress have it statutorily mandated that all of our Congress people are part-time legislature, because that's what we had in California. And then we went to a professional legislature, and they stopped being a part-time legislature. And once that happened, that's when we got all the really bad bills that we have now, and poor governance that we have now. So having them be a part-time legislature and having them be business owners and professionals and people that have farmers, people that have something to go back to, that earn their own money without being dependent on donations. I think that's the way to do it. And term limits, while we certainly have people that are in there for a very long period of time, you'll have like husband and wife teams that switch off, and it's just you got to have an enlightened and awake and aware electorate, and without that, this whole self-governance thing just ain't going to work. Unfortunately, we can't have things like autopilots out there and expect a document to do all of the work that we the people are supposed to be doing. Floyd says this weather is an illegal alien. Back to Canada with it. Yes, go back to Canada where you came from. Ken Jack Bin says, kill them all and let God sort them out. Not quite there yet, Ken Jack Bin, but at some point we may be. Hail Rowan Ginger Raven, welcome. Nullify everything, at least in states with balls. Now, not here. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. Yeah, we need to just get into that. Floyd says the 10th Amendment has been ignored for far too long. Yes, it has. No. Of course, I'm the one streaming, so how would I know? Yo, Terry Rose, welcome, my friend. Hail, Mr. CCDV. Good to see you, my friend. Hail. Could always try the Shakespeare thing. Hang all the... Yeah, right. Well, we're going to try and do it peacefully first. Yeah, Texas was like that. Yeah. Yep. Ken Jack Ben says, I haven't heard the phrase consumer confidence in a number of years. Then again, I don't watch mainstream news anymore. Yeah, well, that's all that it's there for, is for confidence, credibility, legitimacy of the current administration. Tommy says, I just got the Odyssey thing rolling. 10 times easier than BitChute. Oh, yeah. Big time. Yeah, I don't even mess with BitChute anymore unless it's something like, what's the point? R says, they're conjuring fiat dollars out of cyberspace thin air. The Fed has come out publicly that they have taken over the government by putting the former Fed chair, Yellen, as Treasury Secretary. A complete conflict of interest. Yep. And entirely predictable, too. Entirely predictable that you know what? I actually thought that that's who he was going to pick as the Treasury Secretary. And I was right. I wish I would have put that on camera. It's nice to be on camera and be right instead of being wrong. Kate says, and Odyssey is pretty. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it has a nice color scheme. It has a dark theme that's really dark, which I enjoy. Ken Jack Bin says state sovereignty will save the republic. That's why it exists. Mm-hmm. Yep. At some point, and we have to see part of their success is that they're very effective liars, and they are very good at compartmentalizing things to get and compromising people to get their way. And so one of the things about why we cover the conspiracies is that it shows the complete picture. So if somebody thinks that they're getting a portion of the picture, because you'll see that in the mainstream media, they'll give you a portion of the picture. And then down the road, sometimes when the narrative needs to change, you can see the narrative change. And so for folks like us that are looking back and connecting all the dots, it's like, okay, so that's what's going on. it kind of it makes it more difficult for them to carry off the con. So that's why more of us need to speak up and speak out and take our country back. And hopefully it doesn't have to happen with bloodshed. And hopefully those folks that are in the military or in government or in NGOs that think that the reason they're doing something is for one reason, and it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. And they look, and maybe looking at our channels and looking at like Alex Jones's and Mancow Mueller's and like your Steven Crowder's and all the different alternative media that's out there, or even like Gary Nerd from Nerdrotic or Doomcock, watch their videos, and it's like, this is all part of something bigger. Here's a dot, there's a dot, there's a dot, there's a dot. This is my part in it. Oh, is this why my publicist wants me to say that, we need to put pronouns in bios? Is this why my publicist is telling me that, I need to do this tweet? These are my talking points. This is what I need to tweet about today. All that stuff, adds up. So I really kind of went on a rant there, didn't I? Well, not a rant, but I went on a tangent. We'll call it a tangent. Yep. Kate says, I like it dark. Yes. Yeah, me too. It's really much easier on the eyes than it is when it's just like right now I'm being blinded. In fact, I'll turn that down a little bit. Yeah. Yup. Kate says, always been something bigger. Yep. Massive Truth says, I like this talk. Why, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Give me just a second here. I forgot to plug my laptop into the power source. So while I'm doing that, let's listen to more of this.
I don't know if you knew that. And then, going back to the 21st, as I said, December of last year, and the attempt that got close to killing Trump, according to what I've heard, the assassination attempt that came close. And then Jared got to take over the pardons, and that whole thing was a mess. But my sources are also telling me that Jared got very, very rich. I don't know what to think of all of that. And yeah, a lot of the people close to Trump, as you said, he was too kind. Everybody thinks he's such a hard ass and everything. I think he was too kind.
Yeah, the whole "you're fired" deal, he's very savvy and smart and good. People do what he wants. He's a good businessman, a good PR guy. But the guy you see that says you're fired.
So, wow, quite a lot to unpack there as well. So he's unpacking, a lot of the stuff about Jared Kushner. So And one of the fair criticisms that Trump has received is, Kushner and some of the things that he's allowed Kushner to do. And I've never been a huge Kushner fan. You can tell that Kushner is very much plugged into the establishment. And he comes from a family that's plugged into the establishment. And wow, I mean, so many nuggets there. Kushner was in charge of the pardons. And Kushner ended up becoming a very wealthy man, according to Mancow here, which is somewhat mysterious. And then you have on the Great Reset page, you had Ivanka basically putting pressure on Trump to give up contesting the election. It just all kind of stinks. It all kind of stinks a little bit. Kushner, I've never been a Kushner fan. And, this kind of reinforces how I felt about Kushner. And, it is. It's a little troubling. Let's check with the chat here. R says, and look what the multinational corporations have done to Texas. They have their own power grid, but it's owned by sadistic globalist multinational corporations that want to punish any dissenters. Yep, pretty much. Mancow is great. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Trump was pretty naive about what he was dealing with. Well, but he had good instincts. He was able to outmaneuver for the most part. And it's just like, wow. Kate says, should have kept firing everyone. Yeah. Terry Rose says the Southwest Power Protocol, SPP, sounded like Vlad and other hedge fund CEOs on interviews. This is a black swan event. We will learn from this. Okay. Lasso of Truth says, I always thought that too. Trump was too nice about the people around him. Jared and Ivanka are globalists. Yes. Yes, they are. And they're also, let me find that Great Reset thing, because the Great Reset thing actually shows Jared and Ivanka in the opening part of the video. So, yeah, I don't think they would be there unless, I don't think they would be in that promotional video without that, without being a part of it. Yeah, they want to get in with the establishment. They want to be part of it, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Kushner pulled the Brutus job. Well, yeah, Trump never had decent counsel. He didn't. Trump had to settle for the B team, and it's like, hey man, you go to war with the army you got, right? And you it must have been really frustrating for him to see that he had the B team working for him and seeing where the B team was just making obvious mistakes. I mean, you go to army with the war that you have, but yeah, it was very unfortunate. Very unfortunate that he had some bad people around him, some incompetent people and traitors. Yep. Lasso of Truth says, my MAGA friends, God love them, are going to endorse Ivanka if she ever runs. Good Lord. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Ivanka is part of the globalists, unfortunately. Yeah, she wants to curry favor with those folks. It's very disappointing. Ivanka or Ivana? Ivana is talking about running for the Senate. Interesting. R says he had nothing but snakes all around him. It's amazing he did what he did. Just imagine what he could have done for the country if he didn't have to fight the deep state. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, he did a lot, especially on trade. I mean, where he could do stuff, he went full speed ahead. The guy was freaking fearless. The army you have is a good band you should check out, says Kate. All right, I'll give it a look. So let's continue with this video here. I have a feeling there's some more nuggets that we can glean from it. All right, got a train going by.
Apprentice, that's not Trump.
No, it's a TV show. It's a TV show.
Well, man, Cal, listen, you're always hard to get on, but I know now that you're semi-retired, probably about to come back on the air, I want to get you back on very, very soon. I know you were going to come down in Austin this weekend. We were going to visit because the ice storm, you can't come now. So please, you and the wife come down. We'll get dinner. And I just really appreciate you.
Alex, I love you and I appreciate you too. And look, the fact is that I'm getting taxed out of my house and living here in Chicago, the violence and the taxes. I'm ready to move to Texas. Although you tell me Austin has become kind of a liberal a-hole place, but
only the downtown area in certain corridors. Yeah. I mean,
all right, that I think we get the picture. That's just a little chit chat at the end. They did retracto. Okay. Kinjack Bin says, I think people make too much of Jared and Ivanka and whatever it is they do or don't do. I think there may be some truth to that. Both sides kind of do that, but they have done some things. And, the record is the record. And Kushner, I mean, did broker some things in the Middle East, allegedly. So, Gatorade G2. Yummy. So let's move on to, our our next topic here, the Project Veritas thing. Let's cue this sucker up. So yeah, this shows. This kind of ties into our show, the last show that we did on. And again, I talked about seeing different parts of the conspiracy, and this is CEO Mark Zuckerberg talking about his concerns about the RNA vaccine. Nice. I love talking about conspiracy stuff. I'm glad that I've gotten over the massive depression I had when I first got red pilled. Make sure I haven't missed any chats here. Kate says, I never liked Ivanka, so whatever. Yes. Master of Truth says, well, I think Jared and Ivanka held a lot of influence over Trump's decisions, which were not ideal. Just my opinion. I don't like or dislike Ivanka, just don't think she'd be good for the country. Yeah. That pretty much sums up my feelings on it.
But I do just want to make sure that I share some caution on this because we just don't know the long-term side effects of basically modifying people's DNA and RNA.
Jeez.
DNA is inherent in your own.
Let's not bury the lead. Yeah, you think people would be concerned about that.
The long-term side effects of basically modifying people.
So
last week, Facebook announced they are, quote, expanding their efforts to remove false claims on Facebook and Instagram about COVID-19 vaccines, and vaccines in general during the pandemic. And the New York Times covered the story. Let's take a look at Facebook's most updated COVID-19 vaccine policy. It says, quote, we want to make sure that our policies help to protect people from harmful content regarding COVID-19 and vaccines. But the real kicker is right here in the policy where Facebook says it would remove any content that, quote, claims the COVID-19 vaccine changes people's DNA. Well, we just got a new leaked tape from Zuckerberg himself, the CEO of Facebook, basically violating his own code of conduct. He would be censored on the platform today for what he said.
So yeah, we talked about this a little bit on the last show, and that with Event 201, they specifically said that through technology, we need to make sure that people that we boost authoritative sources and that we suppress misinformation and disinformation. And so what you have here is Zuckerberg saying one thing in private. Hey, whoa, dude, RNA vaccines. That's some scary shit. I don't want to really have anything to do with that. And then at the same time, he's serving his dark overlords and masters by catapulting the propaganda. So let's hear what he has to say.
Let's take a listen.
But I do just want to make sure that I share some caution on this because we just don't know the long-term side effects of basically modifying people's DNA and RNA to directly encode in a person's DNA and RNA, basically the ability to produce those antibodies, and whether that causes other mutations or other risks downstream. So there's work on both paths of vaccine development.
That was from Facebook's internal weekly Q&A meeting in July 2020. So when Zuckerberg said, quote, basically, the vaccine is modifying people's DNA, it seems pretty clear modifying is synonymous with changing. Again, Zuckerberg would be banned from Facebook for saying this. In fact, this video of me showing the CEO of Facebook talking might be banned because he is violating Facebook's policy. Seems a little bit hypocritical, don't you think? But then Zuckerberg on November 30th in a public live stream Q&A with White House medical advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci appears to somewhat change his tune. He asks Fauci about the vaccines and their effect on DNA or RNA.
And just to clear up one point, I mean, my understanding is that these vaccines do not modify your DNA or RNA. So I think that's just an important point to clarify. If I'm getting anything wrong here, of course, correct me. But
No.
But just to make that clear.
Interesting. RR says O'Keefe should have a Nobel Prize for his great reporting. Indeed. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we know who does. I don't know. You know, those prizes are unfortunately, with most things human beings do, it's made up bullshit, unfortunately, at this point. Lasso of Truth says this vax is scary as heck. My parents are getting it. Yeah. I don't think the Moderna and I don't think the other ones are RNA vaccines. Are they? Yep. Yeah. DNA, RNA. Yep. And Jack Ben says, I think it's a lie to make you think less of Trump. I don't think less of Trump. I just think less of Ivanka and Kushner. R says, what's the matter, Mark? You don't want your RNA jab? Zuckerface doesn't want his DNA altered. It means he has some sense. Yep. At least it means he has some sense. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Zuckerberg already has many, many children, so I'm sure sterilization for him wouldn't be a big deal. But yeah, boy, that's just weird. They want to sterilize people. That's fucking nuts. And Jack Bin says, making a deep fake of Zuckerberg would be quite easy because of his expressionless face. Yeah, that's why the Mr. Data deep fake works so well. Yep. Ken Jack Bin says, well, this just tells me that COVID-19 vaccines contain harmful content, that they just said harmful content and COVID-19 vaccine in the same sentence. Yeah. Bone says, Zuckerberg has 2 sets of eyelids. I saw him blink twice. Yeah. Lasso of Truth says, does he really have a lot of kids? I never heard of that. Well, let me fact check myself because I could be wrong. I could be wrong. On. Let me get on the Wicca machine here. Hang on. So he has 2 kids, Maxima and August. So he has 2 children. My mistake. Yes, not a lot of them too. So he has children. So, Alrighty, let's see what's going on here with Fauci.
No. First of all, DNA is inherent in your own nucleus cell. Sticking in anything foreign will ultimately get cleared.
Good. Well, I'm glad we can clear that up.
He doesn't seem convinced.
We can clear that up. It's unclear what is on Zuckerberg's mind or what's in his heart on the subject of the COVID vaccine. Isn't it interesting that Zuckerberg can vastly involve his thinking on the subject of vaccines, going as far as to caution his own staff, but as soon as he's made up his mind or appears to have made up his mind on the topic, he disallows the almost 3 billion Facebook users to do the same. Rules for thee, but not for me. The irony is, under their own community standards, they say they want people to, quote, discuss, debate, and share their personal experiences, opinions, and views as it pertains to the pandemic. But how do you, quote, discuss or debate something if you can't even share opposing views or even facts or even Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's own statements? Now, I'm not here to tell you my opinion or give you my thoughts on the vaccine. I want to be clear about that. But it is clear that Zuck is not living up to his own book of rules. What happened to free speech? And who is on this Facebook oversight board? Who makes all of their policy decisions? You heard Nick Clegg in that leaked phone call talk about that, talk about how they make decisions in real time.
Well, I'm going to be very clear about that ideally we wouldn't be taking these decisions on our own. We would be taking these decisions in line with and in conformity with democratically agreed rules and principles. And at the moment, those democratically agreed rules don't exist. We still have to take decisions in real time.
Why do they get to determine what we can or can't say as it pertains to our health? We would know none of this, but not for the fact that we have a brave Facebook insider that continues to leak and transmit videotape of Facebook executives to Project Veritas. It's not that the insider is betraying Mark Zuckerberg. It's that Mark Zuckerberg is betraying what Facebook ought to stand for. Be brave. Do something. Send us an email or a tip at veritastips@protonmail.com.
Great stuff. Love Project Veritas. It's nice to see that real journalism is still taking place. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat to that video. There you are. So I just dropped that into the chat. And let me get yeah. Yeah, Fauci has kids. Yep. Yeah, real scientific explanation there, Jawbone, right? Your DNA is already written. So you already got your DNA. It can't be rewritten. Something goes in, it doesn't come out. Which is like, how then does it work? But I think Zuckerberg was probably right in his first video. Yep. What a shit show. Yep, indeed. And here's where you can find me on Odyssey. Thank you, Tommy, for posting that link. I appreciate it. Ken Jack Bin says, much in the same way he did not want anyone knowing where his hotel was. Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting stuff, right? So, yeah, I mean, again, as we saw from Event 201 yesterday, the entire picture is kind of becoming clear, right? Kind of becoming clear that maybe, we talk about compartmentalization and power grabs, and that maybe what something appears to be is just like the toe of the elephant and not what it really, in fact, is. We've got to have people out there that talk to your Project Veritas people. And you got to have, you have to have whistleblowers, and the good people out there really need to look around. And when they see something that it looks like whatever small part of the entity or the project or, the governmental agency or non-governmental agency that you're a part of, if you folks could just, look around and make sure that you have the entire picture before you do the fucking Prussian two-step and march us all into tyranny. That would be really nice if you could do that. And if you could throw a monkey wrench in here and there when things are when it looks like things are about to hit the fan and that they're going to get their way, that we're going to cross a point of no return with these folks. So if you could do that, that would be great. And for you folks out there that work for these evildoers and evil doing is happening and you're compromised in some way, the world's changed. So unless you're doing something really bad, hey, if you're doing blow and and cheating on your wife, it's not going to be that big of a deal, versus all of human freedom being flushed down the toilet. Don't be a selfish asshole. Take the risk. Admit fault for the mistakes and admit that you're going to get the heat, but at least take a little bit of comfort in the fact that you might be saving Western civilization. Okay. If you could do that, that would be great. Everybody's got something. Everybody's got something. Let's go ahead and share this again. I'm going to share it again because, again, this goes into what we were talking about on the Event 201 stream. Event 201, and here it has our recommendations. We just saw Zuckerberg contradict himself in private. And I'm going to read it again. Recommendation number 7. Governments and private sector should assign a greater priority to developing methods to combat mis and disinformation prior to the next pandemic response. And this is, keep in mind, again, before COVID-19 was a thing. Ironically enough, the name of the disease used in their exercise was COVID-19. Continuing. Governments will need to partner with traditional and social media companies to research and develop nimble approaches to countering misinformation. This will require developing the ability to flood media with fast, accurate, and consistent information. Say this, don't think about it. Say this, everybody get on the same page. Let's all report the same thing. Say this. Hey, everybody, don't contradict ourselves. We all got to say the same shit. Same time. Got to catapult the propaganda. Continuing here. Public health authorities should work with private employers and trusted community leaders, such as faith leaders, to promulgate factual information to employees and citizens. Trusted, influential private sector employers should create the capacity to readily and reliably augment public messaging, manage rumors and misinformation, and amplify credible information, to support emergency public communications. Wow. National public health agencies should work in close collaboration with WHO, the World Health Organization, to create the capability to rapidly develop and release consistent health messages. For their part, media companies should commit to ensuring that authoritative messages are prioritized and that false messages are suppressed, including through the use of technology. And so what we're really seeing with this Project Veritas stuff, is the Event 201 plan in action. And you're also seeing the mission creep of the Event 201 free speech suppression in place. And you're seeing how that's applied to other things. For example, the election that we had. I'm going to get to the chat here because I'm getting upset. Wow, I missed a lot of chat. Oh, here we go. RR says, Veritas does fantastic work. Yes, we love Project Veritas. Floyd Looney says, also banned books has been whacked by the cancel culture cancer. Yep. R says, you can't write a better science fiction movie. Well, I think Contagion was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty close to what we're experiencing now, except that, I tend to side with, the portrayal of their Alex Jones type was obvious propaganda. Parrothead says, how many Wayfair cabinets do you think he had? Probably just the really expensive one that, had something in it. Hail Supreme Heretic. Welcome, my friend. Hail Drew. Good to see you. Lasso of Truth says the Supreme of Heretics has arrived. Hail Supreme Heretic. Yes. Kinjack Bin says, watch them. If their children don't take the vaccine, don't give it to anyone. Refuse it. Yep. Yeah, RR. Yep. Absolutely. That's how it all ties. These are the dots that you connect when you're a conspiracy theorist. And that's one of the reasons they call it the rabbit hole. If one of you is catching this and you don't dabble in conspiracies, I guess I have to be mindful of the fact that people sometimes watch these live streams well after the fact. Today, by the way, is February 19th, 2021, a Friday. Drew says, Trina, my favorite super heroine, Purple Heart. Kinjack Bin says, using CRISPR, they can add and subtract whatever they wish. Yeah, authoritative messaging. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is why we fight, ladies and gentlemen, says Drew. Yeah, absolutely. This is why our voices need to be heard. Jack Bin says, Supreme Heretic, greetings and salutations from Northern California, the less crazy California. Yeah, I'm in the less crazy part of California. Well, a different, less crazy part of California than you're in, Ken Jack Bin. Yeah, it's been kind of overcast and a little weird the last week. Yeah, R says, we didn't have an election, we had a selection. Yep. Drew says, fuck their authoritative messaging. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm all in on fuck that shit. Lasso of Truth says, oh my God, the way fail cabinets. Yeah, that was very strange. Drew says, the fandom journalist is ready to triple down on the fight. Yes, fight these fuckers. With words and peace. Ken Jack Bin says, they've already done that. That's why every news outlet says the same thing, the same way. We've all seen those videos on YouTube. Yep. I know. But they're taking it to an additional step with the social media and the internet censorship. And that technologically, I think that's what they're talking about when they say that they want to bring it down. Yeah, boy, it's been a busy week. Tommy says, someone sees some toes? Nibble, nibble. Yep. Nibble them up. Nibble those toes. Yep. And we would be honored if you would smash the like button. Yes. Alrighty, folks. So this has been a great conversation. Love hanging out with you. We've gone for about an hour. That, I think, is a good time to keep everything together, have a nice cohesive show. And if you're catching this on the replay or you're watching and you are not subscribed to the channel, I would be honored if you would consider liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you ring the bell for notifications, there's about a 10 to 15% chance you will actually get one. So don't worry, you won't be spammed. This has been Conspiracy or Conspiracy. See ya.